Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. No introductions needed tonight. I've got someone that's waited very patiently to unload after Manchester City's 1-0 loss to Aston Villa yesterday.
Weren't a win, bruv.
It wasn't a win, though. And look, there's only one place to start, really, and I will give you your props here. When the team sheet came out, my brother sat opposite me on the screen here, messaged me saying this midfield is a joke. This was before kickoff. We constantly get messages, what do you two know? And we're talking about one of the best minds in football here in Pep Guardiola. Christian, let's start with the starting 11. Yeah. Obviously, I've sort of briefed our viewers with your thoughts on it, and you weren't alone, I'm sure, with that. Talk to me about the reaction and go into a bit more detail of seeing that team sheet yesterday against a very athletic team, and you was away from home as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. Look, we go there, we've lost there 2 years on the bounce. Now, like you said yourself, Alex, that's an athletic team, athletic midfield. They overran us in previous years, absolutely hammered us there last year. Now, I don't know what Pep was thinking. I said to you, I think he's just throwing the game. Made absolutely no sense. I was hearing things about, Nico Gonzalez was injured. In my opinion, if he's fit enough for the bench and he's fit enough to come on, then he was fit enough to start. It was a very, very poor decision by Pep. Now, when you look at that midfield, Alex, and I said this to you straight away, you were looking at Bernardo Silva. Now, if prime Bernardo Silva was in that midfield, I'd have still gone, I don't know. Now, the version of Bernardo Silva we're looking at now is nowhere near that. Then you're looking at Phil Foden, who there's been this, conversation about, is he going to be the 10? Is he good enough to be the 10? You know what I mean? But we know he's very offensive, and we know what, he lacks going back. He's a very slight guy, and you're not going to get much from him in terms of tracking and winning the ball back or winning duels. And then you're like, right, okay, so there's Reinders. We're going to play Reinders as the main holder. Reinders has been a bit up and down anyway, even in his natural number 8 position. So we're going, yeah, you just hold it down, mate, and you've got Bernardo and Foden in front of you. That, to me, look, you said it straight up yourself, Alex. Who am I to question Pep Guardiola? And I agree, who am I? I'm sat in a chair, all the fucking insults we've had, you sat in your fucking bedroom. Fair enough, mate, I'm not bothered, but if you looked at that starting lineup and you thought we'd win, then you should be having a word with yourself. Because there was no chance. That game was thrown from the moment I saw the team sheet. Should we move a bit further up the pitch, Alex? So we'll go to the front three. Haaland, of course, writes himself in, best striker in world football, obviously no issues there. Now, either side of him, you have got Oscar Bobb, who, let's be fair, we have never seen enough of this guy. He spent most of last year injured. When I have seen him, looks like he's got a good touch, he's an intricate little dribbler, zero end product, which is reminiscent with most of our forwards these days, hence why Erling Haaland, he's the only guy that can score in the team. Now, you look at that side, and then you go across to the other side, and it's Savinho. Now, Savinho, we were trying to offload in the summer, or weren't we? You know what I mean? It was just the most mixed up situation. No one knew what was going on. We said we wanted 70 million. Spurs were mental enough to decide to give us that on a platter, and we're even more stupid to turn it down. Now, Savinho, I've been telling you this for a while. When he first signed, I thought, you know what? The signs of his game I actually do like. And you made a comparison to Garnacho, and I was like, don't be harsh, I think that's a bit uncalled for. Now, I tell you what, at the moment, Alex, he's regressed to behind Garnacho. The guy cannot beat a man. He's so unconfident. When he squares up a man, Alex, I used to get pissed off with him, or pissed off when we were playing Bernardo, for instance, because I'm like, well, the only thing he can do, because he can't beat his man, is pass inside. Now, I used to get also annoyed at Savinho because I was like, he takes his man on too much and he can't do anything at the other end. He's just 200 mile an hour. Alex, now he can't beat his man. He cannot beat his fullback. And then when he does get the ball, he's looking for the easy pass. He's misplacing passes. He can't shoot. Zero end product. So you look at that front line. You've got poor Erling Haaland in the middle, who's like, look, lads, I'm being funny, not being funny, but if anyone deserves a week off here, it's me. I am carrying you single-handedly every week. It'd be nice if one of you could step up and just produce something. Either give me something on a plate or actually do something yourself. Now, Neither of them two are capable. You look at Savinho. Take Haaland out of the situation. Of course, he gets into any team in world football. You look at Savinho and Oscar Bobb. Alex, you tell me who they start for. Because they don't start for Aston Villa, hence why they beat us yesterday and look more dangerous than us.
Yeah.
They don't start for Newcastle. They don't start for Everton. Alex, I could keep going. This is embarrassing. At the end of the day, we're Manchester City. We won 4 Premier Leagues in a row, and I'm watching Pep Guardiola, who was apparently open to letting Savinho leave, and then we're watching him be the guy that we have to rely on away at Villa Park. It just seems bipolar and all over the place. The decision-making does not make sense. And then we've got Cherki, who he brings in. We've got Marmoush, who he brought in the January. Now, he doesn't trust either of them. And everything I've been saying, Alex, about the Marmoush introduction into this team, it's already happened. It's already come to fruition. He does not know where he wants to play this. Well, he does know where he wants to play him, on the fucking bench. And all he is I'll throw him on, and hopefully he can do something in the last 5 minutes. But even when I do throw him on, he still won't be in his natural position because I can't bring Erling Haaland off. He is I really don't know what we have been doing, and it's just the epitome of our transfers post-treble victory. But yeah, mate, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, look, you made some great points there, as always, and I think the team sheet is look, Guardiola has been guilty of this in the past, and it's arrogant, is what it is. It's an arrogant team sheet by a guy who's been immensely successful with this sort of setup. Now, what the setup was yesterday, it was the old Fernandinho, De Bruyne, David Silva midfield. And if you go back to when he first implemented that, people questioned that. A lot, even I think yourself was like, wow, we're playing 2 10s next to Fernandinho. Yesterday was 2 10s ahead of a number 8. It was insanity. If you just compare that, Fernandinho versus Reinders, ridiculous comparison. De Bruyne versus Bernardo, again ridiculous. De Bruyne was an underrated athlete when he first implemented this. And David Silva against Foden, very, very different players. And Foden, we'll come to Foden because I want to talk to you about him. But as a whole, you're coming up against Onana, Kamara, and Morgan Rogers. You know their game. Do you need it spelling out? Do you need it writing on the whiteboard? Extremely athletic, very physical, decent on the ball as well, by the way. Rogers, they can carry the ball 20, 30 yards. To put a number 8, you said it perfectly, Reinders, first game of the season, man of the match, up, and since that Pape Sarr game, we've not really seen the best of Reinders. Have we seen a 7 out of 10 game from Reinders? So to go and play out of position against Onana and Kamara and Rogers, I mean, mate, look, I hear you completely.
Alex, you talk about sending someone to the slaughter. I mean, you made some really good points yourself there about positions and making some comparisons to what he's played in the past with Kevin De Bruyne there. Now, Kevin De Bruyne, you are so right. He was underrated athletically, but what he was also underrated in is winning of duels in midfield, and that is why it allowed us to play that. And look, fair play to Pep, because he brought that in, and none of us would have thought that would have been successful. In fact, it was undefeated. Probably one of the best we've ever seen in the Prem in terms of midfield.
100 points, Christian.
Centurions, exactly. But now, what he's going to now, if you look at Reinders, Alex, if you were to talk to, I mean, I've seen a few things interesting from Serie A and AC Milan and some of their fans, and they were going, well, yeah, he's a very good player, and even last year he was very good in the number 10 position. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ. So you're saying, yeah, we've got 2 out-and-out 10s that are going to, yes, Bernardo will work harder, but bless him, his legs just can't do it anymore. Physicality-wise, the guy is not there. He will not be able to keep up with the pace of the game. And especially when you're looking at the opponents, you could maybe peddle that. If you are thinking, we're going to keep 80% possession at the Etihad, and you're playing maybe a team, I'd say 15th and below, you could possibly, and I mean possibly, get away with it. You would still get caught on the break, but I would just rely on that the other team probably isn't clinical enough to punish you. Playing it away at Villa Park, Alex, was fucking suicidal. You talk about Pep Guardiola, and you said, maybe not the greatest idea to have done it. Alex, it's lack of common sense. I'm sorry here. I am not doubting what this guy is capable of and what this guy has done. But when I saw that team, I said to you, it's already done.
Yeah.
Because I could see the game mapping out. I was
Yeah.
like, well, we're fucked really, because we've already played our ace card. Because if you look at the players we've got on the pitch, what's he going to do? The only thing he can do is regress that and send on Nico Gonzalez, which is exactly what he did when we were 1-0 down.
Do you think it's a lack of respect for the Premier League and away games, which is weird because Guardiola in his first season, people were like, mate, you know, you lost. Did you in Guardiola's first season? You had that Leicester game 4-1 where Bravo was like trying to play out from the back, and you didn't have the defenders to do it. And everyone was like, "Look, mate, this isn't La Liga. This isn't the Bundesliga." Pep Guardiola remapped it, built the defense completely. Centurions, right? Okay. Are you feeling? What are we, year 9 now for Guardiola? Why are these questions seeping back in? Where it's like, why are you going to tough away grounds and conceding the athletic battle this much? You've been here 9 years now. This isn't your first 6 months. You're one of the best coaches of all time.
This was a lesson that was learned a long time ago. Now, why is it still rearing its ugly head? And you're so right, Alex. And well, one thing you did say before, I completely agree with. And yes, I think you are correct. I think it's arrogance. And combined with
he's not stupid,
Alex.
not.
Whichever, just what I was going to say. It's what pick your poison. It's either just plain stupidity and lack of common sense, which, let's be honest, can we question Pep Guardiola of that? No, we can't, because everyone will come for me in the comments. So I won't do that then. But what we're also going to have to say is that it is just pure arrogance. Straight up, I will go to Villa. He knows how strong the Premier League is. He says it in every press conference. There's no easy game. Right, Pep, you know there's no easy games. Well, Villa Park has never been an easy game for us, historically, even when we've been at our best. Yeah, it's not an easy game for anyone. It is a very tough ground to go to. And especially the team that they've put together now under Unai Emery, I think they are a respected side in the Prem. Going there and playing Reinders as your holder, and then looking what we had as that front line. Mate, there was time. Let's just go into that. Obviously, you've heard my thoughts on the pathetic lineup. But let's go into more the performance in general. Now, when we were going forward, Alex, we were toothless. And it looked like reminiscent of last season when we were in these games and I'm looking at these stats and it's like, 70% possession, but we can't create anything. And all I'm waiting for is a counter-attack because the team is dawdling around. We've got no one in the front line that is capable of anything apart from Erling Haaland. It is Oscar Bobb has it. Oh, cuts inside, has to give it someone else because he don't know what to do now. Oh, we've got Savinho now. He has to cut inside, maybe turn back because he don't know what to do. Or he just puts a shit delivery in. The amount of misplaced passes, missed crosses that I saw from that guy yesterday. And if you look at the general performance, Alex, when we were going forward, and I think Phil Foden, you've got to take some of this, my friend, because I've backed you right from the start. But I'm sorry, this is where you've got to start stepping up. You know, we have had these players of the past. We've had David Silva. We've had Kevin De Bruyne. There's always felt like, don't worry, because someone was passing the baton on. And this is the first time I really don't get that feeling. The more I'm watching it and I'm seeing it go on, I'm thinking, is Foden that guy? Because he's not showing it me right now and he's going to need to start picking up quickly. Do you know what was worrying, Alex? The player that came on for the last, I think it was about 15 minutes, Cherki. I think that's correct. I think he came in about 75th minute. Now, Cherki, in fairness to him, was actually trying things. He was cutting in and he put a couple of really good balls in that inside, like De Bruyne position where he was in, swinging it in with his left foot. Phil Foden, Alex, he was anonymous. Why am I watching him for 90 minutes and he's just struggling? He doesn't seem to know what to do. You've said you wanted to be the number 10. Why is your movement looking like you're stuck in mud?
I don't know, mate. I mean, obviously Foden was on my list to talk to you about tonight, and you've segued into it perfectly. Phil Foden has been I don't think 2 years ago, before the Euros, I don't think anybody really envisaged De Bruyne leaving as this much of a issue because of Foden. And it's like, well, they're great as a duo. You know, they combine great. They're both great strikers of the football outside the box. They can shoot. They can pass. They could both dribble. De Bruyne was underrated ball carrier as well. Foden, fantastic in tight spaces, can get out of anywhere. De Bruyne, when we spoke in the summer, Christian, what has Foden got to do? The pressure's on now. You ain't Robin now. You're Batman. Are you Batman or are you Robin? You just said it there. You know, we want somebody driving the bus, mate. We don't want somebody riding the bus here because Kev's gone. So this is your opportunity now. And I just got some numbers because You're right. Anonymous is a very good word to. I don't particularly think he's playing bad. I just think he's playing 6.5 out of 10 every game. And I've got some numbers for you, Christian, just before you go on this.
Okay.
On Foden. And this isn't going to blow your mind or any of our viewers. I think everybody knows Phil Foden has not been delivering in front of goal, assists, or goals. However, there's a few other stats I want to get into. So let's go. Foden, last 17 Premier League games. So crossing over between back end of last and obviously I think he's played 7 out of the 9 games this season. Okay, Phil Foden, last 17 games. He's played over 1,000 minutes, 1,018 minutes. He's got 1 goal. He's from 21 total shots, and out of them 21 total shots, 5 of them are gone on target. He's got 0 assists. His XG is 1.64. Phil Foden, in his last 17 Premier League games, has an XG of 1.6. That is, forget how many goals and assists. The computer that's cleverer than everybody is saying Phil Foden has done enough in the last 17 games for 1.5 goals. He's got 1 goal. So he's actually sort of converting what he's creating.
That is shocking, to be fair, Alex. And them stats are not kind.
And I looked I've not got the game log in front of me. People go and check it out on StatMuse. It's a brilliant website. You can type in anything, type in Phil Foden, have a look at his stats. Mate, I think there's games this season he's not had a shot in.
No,
you can get a yard on anyone. Like,
I think you made a good point, possibly without even knowing it, with the De Bruyne situation, because you were saying when KDB left and when he was here, was this always Foden? And this is what's scaring me. When Foden was with De Bruyne, you would kind of see him ghost a little bit in them games, but he was clinical. So yeah, that does counteract that stat you've just told me there, and that is a bit unexplainable. That is something that Pep should be looking at, and they really need to be working on and upping them numbers, because they are horrendous, let's be honest. However, if you look at when he was playing with KDB, and you're right, they were great together, good duo, but like you said, De Bruyne was driving the bus, and was he riding on it? And it looks like he might have been, because all of a sudden, the driver's fucked off and he's still sat down, Alex. And that's where I'm at with this. He seems to still be ghosting in these games, but the opposition are like, we'll let you go through these games because there's no Kevin De Bruyne anymore. And it was almost like he could go a bit anonymous because he would pop up and get a goal, or he would pop up with a moment, and we'd all be like, not too bothered really of his overall performance.
But Christian, like you mentioned moments there. And I've seen moments from this guy, and this isn't because Kevin De Bruyne stood 20 yards that way. I've seen Phil Foden receive it on the half turn at the Bernabeu and slap it in the top bins. That's not because De Bruyne was stood to his right.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I completely take your point. You're looking at it from a position of, we've lost Kevin. You have to be delivering now. Like, we cannot have you going, well, that was a bonus at the Bernabeu. No, mate. Christian, you said it perfectly. City won 4 leagues in a row, and you are rolling out a number 10 who's got 1 goal in his last 17 games. Savinho has not got any goals in his last 17 games, and Oscar Bobb is a young lad who broke his leg last year, and this is the supporting 3 behind the best striker in the world. How long before Haaland? You said it perfectly. He was pissed off after that Monaco game. This cannot continue. Guardiola has to figure something out. Cherki has to come in. I know you mentioned Cherki. Cherki has to play.
I've got a lot of thoughts, yeah. So just before we finish on Foden, you are right, Alex. And he has... There was some incredible performances, by the way. And single-handedly, sometimes he did drag us over the line, especially in that Player of the Year season. But all I worry about is that sometimes did you feel like maybe he needs a bit of a supporting cast? Now it feels like when we had De Bruyne, even if he was with a shower of shit, Prime De Bruyne will cause the damage. He's the root. Whereas is Foden a very fancy looking leaf? Do you know what I mean? And yes, when things are going well, it's brilliant. But right now, it's like, we need you to step up, because you just said it yourself. We've got our young lad from last year who snapped his leg, and we've got Savinho on the other wing who is just dog shit. And even when you look at who's coming in, right, you got Doku. Oh God, do you know what I mean? What good have we really got? I think Foden needs more in terms of help. I think Cherki coming in, he has to work out a way of Cherki playing. I know Cherki has had a massive weight loss, so obviously That's something he's come in. Pep's straight away put him on a diet, and now he's skinny as fuck. Now, Pep has surely got to be putting him in that wing position because for me, Foden is at his best when there is someone as a distraction. He needs more space. You talk about that goal at the Bernabeu, Alex. Yes, it was because he could pick up that space centrally, turn on the ball. He is great in tight spaces, but he needs to be able to occupy him. He's picking the ball up too deep. And he's not a De Bruyne-esque player. It's like we're utilising his skill set all wrong, which is ridiculous because we've always known what he is. Foden is not, yes, he's a very good dribbler, but at the end of it, you are not going to get like a 15-yard run and a killer ball like De Bruyne against Stoke City to the back post of Sane. That is not Phil Foden. We are not using this guy correctly. I think we've got to go back to how he will work, which is we need someone with serious quality in the wing position. Now, Cherki does fit that mould. If anything, even if he doesn't deliver, I don't know what this guy's capable of. We've just not seen enough. But he is a talented player on the ball. We need someone like that. He draws players into him. We saw it straight away when he came on. I've seen it when I've seen little bits of him here and there. What we've got right now, teams aren't bothered, Alex. Like I said, our front line, Savinho and Oscar Bobb, they don't start for a lot of Premier League sides. It's just fact.
No, I think you make a great point about the spacing, and I think you really do. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point. And obviously, at the minute, it's easy to clog the lanes against Foden, particularly. And I think you're right. Just going back to what you said there about at the end of a 15-yard dribble, we did a De Bruyne episode when he left the club, and I said to you, what makes him unique is that he can carry the ball 15, 20 yards, off balance, blow in a little bit, and strike it cleanly. And
precision,
that's how difficult this is. Foden can't carry it 15 yards, off balance, whip in a devastating cross to Haaland, which is why he's got no assists in his last 17 games. You're seeing this. De Bruyne, we saw De Bruyne washed last season, and in that FA Cup final, he was the go-to guy in that final. And we said, Christian, towards the back end of that game, De Bruyne was obviously nowhere near the De Bruyne we know, hence why he left, hence why he's now playing in a slower league in Serie A. But even in that FA Cup final, not that long ago, 5 months ago, he was still the guy going, last 10 minutes, panic stations, give it me. And I think he played Echeverry in and should have got an assist in the final. And he wasn't good in the final, but he's still that when you were 2-0 down against Villa, nearly choked the lead to Liverpool, nobody was playing well. De Bruyne grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. Foden, how many games are you going to come off, mate, and go, well, I was a 6 out of 10 today, no goal, no assist? You've got to be Batman. Not Rob. You're not Robin anymore. We ain't got a Batman. You have not got a Batman.
Exactly. It's time to step up. And the most frustrating
Haaland
thing...
is entertaining himself. I'm talking about midfield sort of thing.
Yeah, of course. The most frustrating thing when watching Foden is me alongside most or all Manchester City supporters, we love this guy and you want it to work. And don't get me wrong, he's shown you he can be that guy. But I just think we're utilising his skill set all wrong. I really think he needs to be helped. He needs to be receiving the ball in areas rather than being the guy that is driving the ball into the areas. I don't think that suits him. I don't like it. You said it yourself, Alex. He's not the kind of guy that's going to dribble and then have a killer pass or a killer shot at the end of it. We've never seen that with Phil Foden. Now, going forward, if you look at this, Alex, and this goes to City's poor preparation in the transfer market. Yeah. And I just wanted to mention a name to you, and I was actually laughing to myself after I'd finished ranting because I knew you were watching it with your mate, and you know I am not a fan of this guy, and I am pissed off that he's still at the club. Now, Mateus Nunes has been forced to start right back this year because, like I said, Alex, because I'm not an idiot like Boovy, because Boovy said, "Oh, we've got trouble winning right back, Enrico Lewis." Yeah. And I told you what we're starting. I said it would be Nunes. It is Nunes, and Nunes is terrible. And this is what we're faced with now. We had Tino Livramento. What, was he the only guy we could have gone? Is he the only right back in world football that fits Pep Guardiola's system? Well, if he is, it's fucking shit planning. And we need a new system then. Because it's pathetic. What you're telling me was the one guy we could have signed, and now I'm stuck watching him shepherd Jadon Sancho. There's the goal, pal. Go on. Fuck me.
That's got to be it, isn't it? I mean...
On top of that, that's the first time I've seen Jadon Sancho beat a man in the Prem. My God.
Same. I mean, yeah, his 1v1 ability is awful, but he gets past Nunes.
On top of that, Alex, if you look at this guy's his general play, his passing, he was passing to the wrong team.
Sketchy.
I'm not meaning you, Alex. You have a go at Bruno Fernandes playing these, fucking Hollywood balls and getting them wrong. Alex, he's playing 5-6 yard passes and playing them to Villa players.
Yeah.
The guy is shit. I cannot believe I am watching him years on. Do you know what? I feel sorry for Calvin Phillips because at the end of the day, he has done no worse than that idiot, and he's playing every week. So Calvin Phillips must be looking at this thinking, I tell you what, the amount of shit I'm getting, well, I should have a go at right back and have a rotation with him. He's crap. And Núñez is another one of these things, and I felt this with Pep recently, that it's like almost trying to prove a point. I don't know what point or who he's trying to prove it to, but it's like he is trying to prove one. It's like the yesterday, they're playing the Reinders as a defensive midfielder. We can't do it, guys. We just can't compete. Not got a big enough squad. You wanted a smaller squad. You wanted to sign Gonzalez. You clearly regret that, but we're having to stick with him. However, you didn't want to start him. We were kind of hearing he's injured, even though he didn't look it when he came on. And then we're looking at the fullback situation. We don't go and sign a right back. We're just going to have to stick with Núñez. Why are we all of a sudden, Alex? When Pep came in his first year, he was like the fullback shit, defensive shit. It was all sorted and we did about 300 million.
It's a great
point.
Where
have we now become this, let's prove a point and run it with Matheus Núñez at right back, a failed Wolves midfielder, and an even worse right back?
Just obviously, earlier on in the episode, I mentioned about the Centurion midfield and the arrogance to run yesterday's midfield. Similar sort of personnel in a... Well, it's not actually, because Fernandinho was the most athletic DM in the league, and Reinders is an 8 who's had a difficult start to his Prem career.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, but you get my point, the 2 advanced 10s behind a DM, which was Bernardo Foden ahead of Reinders, but Reinders isn't a DM. Talking about Núñez, again, it's the Fabian Delph at left back. I can do it. I'm Pep Guardiola. I can play a centre mid at right back and be successful. Well, guess what? You can't. And you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this, Christian. I was looking at some press conferences today. And obviously post-game, and I fell on a pre-game, actually, which I didn't actually know it was a pre-game till I started watching it. Yeah. And the first question was about Núñez, and it was, do you think Matheus Núñez can become a great right-back? And Guardiola said he's focused on becoming the best right-back in the world.
Yeah, I saw the quote. I didn't see the interview. I was hoping it was fake. But if you actually watched that in person, yes, I find that absolutely phenomenal. I saw it, but City Extra posted it. I found it absolutely mental. I'm sick of this thing, this best player in the world bollocks in every position. I tell you what, we seem to have all of them. So I don't know why we're shy. If you're looking at that, Alex, I just want to go back to something you said, because you hit on something. You said about Pep's arrogance, and he always liked a bit of it, whether it was to prove a point, because obviously his spending was mental at City after that first year. And some people would say, you're winning all this due to the money. So he almost likes to throw one in, doesn't he? And be like, hang on, I had Fabian Delph at left back. Do you know what I mean? So he likes to put one in, and we'd get away with it somewhat. Now, what we're doing these days, Alex, is we're having a Fabian Delph at left back, we're having a Fabian Delph at right back, we're having a Fabian Delph in midfield, and we're having 2 Fabian Delphs on the wing. That's 5 players. Do you know what I'm saying? He's throwing one all over the show now. And I don't know his point. It's almost like he can go to the end of the year and just go, well, what do you expect? I've got Savinho and Oscar Bobb on the wings. Mate, you're picking them. You went and signed Marmouche. Now there's no place for him. Like I said, there wouldn't be. Which all of the City fan channels I was watching, they were saying it was a foregone conclusion. This guy was going to be our winger. Well, I never saw it. I kept saying to you, Alex, the guy can't play on the wing. He's got no close control and he can't really beat a man. So what of them attributes tells you he's going to be a winger in the Prem, and an effective one?
I've been on, obviously I was on Twitter yesterday, and there's some City fans, and you get them, and I nearly went completely bald last year with my team defending Garnacho, and Savinho obviously very poor again yesterday. We've looked at him. He's not scored in his last 17 games. He's got 4 assists in those games. Savinho is not very good 1v1 player, and he's not got to deliver at the end of it. And I had this with my team, my fellow fans, about Garnacho, where it's they're young, give them time. Now I've done this on many United episodes, Christian. Being young does not mean you're going to get better. This has to stop. It's unbelievably poor analysis to go, he's 21 and that's your excuse for being shit. No, that's not good enough. If you are 21, you still need to show something. You still need to play well. Go and grab any 18-year-old out of any academy and you could apply the same excuse, right? No, the reason Savinho is at Manchester City, or at least we thought, is because he is talented and he's good, might be great. Not shit, might be good. And I had this with Garnacho. You've got it with Savinho now. Yeah. And I never really saw it. I actually think his debut was the best I've ever seen Savinho against Chelsea. Yeah. And City's Twitter tweeted out the Mahrez shirt number comparison. You've got to raise the bar. The standards of Manchester City have fell from what you had. Go and watch City 3-0 at Arsenal in 2017-ish. It is Sane, Aguero, David Silva, probably Sterling, devastating performance. And you go and tell me, where have City come now? You've got Oscar Bobb, Savinho and Foden behind the best striker in the world. Good God,
it's a sad state of affairs. And you said it right, by the way, on the Savinho topic. If your only defence of a young player is his date of birth, and not something that you can come to with the argument of saying anything about his attributes, his skill set, this is why he's going to become what I think he'll become. You've already lost the argument. If your one thing you're bringing to the argument is that he was born in this year, so he will be good. No, he won't. I've watched him every week. The guy is poor. He is not a footballer for this club. Move him on. We fucked up again. We decided we didn't want to move him on because some donut at the club said we should have never got rid of Cole Palmer. Right, well, yeah, we shouldn't. But you know what? I don't even hammer the club for the Cole Palmer one. None of us could have really anticipated the trajectory that guy's career went in. Of course, we can all look at this now and go, yes, would we do that transfer now? No, we wouldn't. But you can't apply that now to every player in the fucking academy going, oh, well, we can't do that. Look at Palmer. Well, what are we going to do then? Are we just going to keep all of them? Are we going to have a roster of 600 18-year-olds going, well, one of them might be good? God's sake, use your fucking brains. We've got to start judging this on how good these footballers actually are. You were mentioning some names from the past then, Alex. You know, we were looking at this. Leroy Sané went to Galatasaray in the summer. Now, my team started a game away at Villa Park yesterday with Oscar Bobb and Savinho on the flanks. I watched Leroy Sané go on a free, and how long ago did he leave my club? Bollocks.
I hear you completely. I mean, I'm watching City, and I'm a rival fan. I'm a United fan. I don't recognise the standards that Manchester City set with going getting Mahrez. We're good. I want to be great. I'm going to get Bernardo Silva as well. I'm going to go and get Gundogan. I'm going to get so stacked that we can play a B team. We can win the Carabao Cup with a B team. That's how stacked we're going to be. To then look at this recruitment, and you're right, to not sell Savinho for that amount, and also the signings coming in, it's like you were the best club in the world recruitment wise, ins and outs. You're going to have the odd one that goes because you were good. I think it was because Pep said, look, give a year, Mahrez will be gone, and he didn't want to wait. That's life sometimes. We had it with Paul Pogba when we were great. Fergie was like, look, you've got to wait for your chance. He said no, he went on to Juve, and he was great, and we brought him back. But the point is, I'm just confused how City have let it slip to this degree. Because you're still spending the money, but it's like, Gvardiol, I think he was 85 mil.
I just wanted to talk about Gvardiol, Alex, and it's another issue I've got with Pep. You heard my issues in terms of the Nunes at right back, which I just think is mental. Now, playing him at left back, we've had this down all season. I was like, do you know what? One thing I can take from this season, you know me, bro, I've been honest all year. I said, look, yeah, we're winning, but I don't see the longevity to this because I'm looking at the names and I know they're not capable of putting in a title challenge. And I've said this right from the start and I've been consistent. I really didn't. I didn't get excited. Even last week when everyone else is putting us in it because Liverpool have dropped off a bit, I was never going to join that bandwagon. Now, Gvardiol, one thing from this season, I was like, well, at least Diaz, Gvardiol, okay, am I very happy with it? No. but at least there was a recognised position. And Vardiol, we bought him as a centre-back, a very highly rated young centre-back, and we paid a lot of money for this dude. But I was like, right, at least he is back in his natural position and he's putting in some decent performances here and there. He was fantastic away at Arsenal. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I was thinking, right. I can see it now. And then yesterday, it's like, right, no, I'm putting him out wide. He's going at left back, even though O'Reilly's been brilliant there. O'Reilly, I'm dropping. Midfield, I'm not playing one today. I'm like, come on. Where is the thinking? This isn't arrogance, Alex. It's just fucking stupidity. It's just straight up fucking negligence at this
Football
point.
It's a simple game sometimes. Put 11 players in their positions. I mean, you're looking at a United fan here who's been banging my head against a brick wall for a year with a guy that plays half the team out of position, and then you start tweaking it and finding players into proper positions and off the ball shape being better. And, you know, I don't love Luke Shaw stepping into midfield, but I said to you at the watch along, I was like, at least he's doing something to stop the 3v2 with Bruno and Casemiro. But anyway, we're a separate entity. Just on the United City's obviously recent run of form and stuff like this, and we did a City in the title race episode because mathematically you were. I said to you, I need to see you against a better team. If we just look at City's wins this season, so you've beaten Wolves, United, Burnley, Brentford, Everton. All 5 of them were in the bottom half. Appreciate United are now not in the bottom half. They were when you battered us, and we were particularly shite that day. City's 5 wins have come against bottom half teams. Now, you've got Bournemouth in the next game. Are you expecting it more? Do you think this is just you this season where it's like Haaland's going to be enough against them, bottom half teams, but against the top 8 and certainly the top 6, we're going to have these games against Villa where it's a real struggle to score and obviously stop the transitions. Do you think this is just you this season, or is there a fix?
Yeah, I think you've absolutely nailed it, Alex. I think top 7 away from home, we will be lucky to get a draw at them grounds. I think we're going to struggle. We'll struggle to create, especially if it's anything similar to that lineup yesterday. Or unless Foden or Cherki can severely kick on and he actually starts trusting Cherki, which I've got thoughts on in a minute. But yeah, I think top 7 away from home, you're going to struggle. Now, if you look at anyone coming to our ground, yeah, we can put in a performance, and I think, you know, massive home advantage. We do play well at the Etihad. Haaland, of course, the skill set he has, he's good for a goal pretty much every single match. So yeah, that does raise the bar a bit, and I think we'll for exactly what I said with B, Alex. We are a top 4 side, and that is it. We're seeing teams take more points off other teams this year because I think the level in the Premier League is quite poor aside from Arsenal. I think Arsenal are stand out really. Are they going to be? Am I going to be lauding them as a great side that have won a Premier League? If they do, no, I won't, because I don't think they look good most matches. I don't think their own fans do. It's set pieces. Another one the other day, but they keep winning. It is what it is, isn't it? Yes, in 10 years, we're not going to look back and remember that great Arsenal side that were good at corners or good at free kicks or throw-ins. But, Alex, what they will remember is they won a Premier League that year. So I'm not hating on them, by the way. The bit of tongue-in-cheek in there, but fair play. If you do go and win it, good luck to you.
Do you think as well, like the ceiling on City's team? We spoke about the fixtures were quite generous. United aside, because as bad as we were that day, Derby is still a good win, and you should have won 6-0 that day. Just on the other sort of negative in the last few weeks, where it's been City have put a run together, but Haaland is being leaned on like never before. In fact, no club in Europe leans on one guy as much as this. So City have scored 17 league goals this season, Christian. Yeah. You've got the joint best attack in the league. A few other teams have got 17. Haaland has scored 11 of them 17 goals. Do you know who's got the others? 2 of them have been own goals. 4 players have got 1 goal. Not one player in City's squad has got over 1 goal except Haaland. And we are 9 games in. I mean,
it's horrendous. It is absolutely horrendous, Alex. And
this is Manchester
City.
City.
Where do you look to blame in that situation? I'm sorry, It's the
Well,
recruitment. So who's in control of the recruitment then? Is it the board? Is it Pep? Well, whoever it is, I'm pretty sure Pep has a very big say at this stage in his City career. He's been there a long time.
But to your point, going back to the Savinho 70, you're struggling for goals around Haaland, and this isn't like you're not looking at this squad. And when I loaded it up before, Haaland 11, Foden, Cherki 1, Foden 1. Got one against United. And you said a couple of Nunes got one, and maybe a defender's got one. It's not. I'm not looking at City squad. Foden, I do think should be delivering more. I do think he is better than 1 in 7. I do think he is. Bernardo Silva, I'm not shocked that he's not scored this season. I'm not shocked that Doku hasn't, and I'm not shocked that Savinho hasn't yet. So this isn't like your squad hasn't come in and shit the bed, other than Haaland. No. I'd say Foden's probably underperforming what I think he should be doing, but those names aren't popping out. I don't think Bernardo Silva's going to get 12. I don't think Doku's going to get 12. I don't think Savinho's going to get 12. And I don't think Foden will because of his form, although he could. Other than Foden, what was the expectation? What? Hope Doku and Savinho get 15 each? It's insane,
Alex,
Christian.
how many times was I saying exactly what you just said then?
No, you
I was saying, last year, if this was Savinho and Doku's first year, then they would be unknown entities. And you could go with that narrative of going, look, we were hoping they would do something. It's not worked out. I would not have a huge problem with that. Sometimes players work, sometimes players don't. You know what I have got an issue with, Alex? When we've watched a year of them and we know they're not good enough. And we know they've both got no end product. And then we go, well, we're hoping they're just going to come good now. No. You're not using that excuse now because you burnt that one last season and we knew what they were capable of because they showed you and they showed everybody else. So you're not using that one again. So what are you going with? Because you should have gone in the market and replaced them and moved them on. And some idiot in Tottenham Hotspur came in and offered you the golden ticket, literally the golden ticket, 70 million to move one of them on. And you could go again, Alex. You could try again. And if the new one doesn't work out, then so be it. But I'd have rather gambled and the new guy been shit than sticking with the one that I know is shit.
No, it's
it's
Christian,
nonsensical.
It shows you. Obviously, we did the watch along. My team last year, I think we averaged nearly a goal a game. We were fucking abysmal in front of goal, and I know why. I know why because Garnacho's shite, Højlund's shite, and Xerxes shite. So I'm not shocked. United went in and got 20-goal Brian and Mbeumo and 16-goal Mateus Cunha. They both scored at the weekend. Manchester City used to be littered with, at the start of the season, 15, 14, 12. He'll get 10. He'll get 11 as well. Fuck me, John Stones will get 5. Now, Christian, right now, honestly, £1 million bet, is anybody scoring double figures other than Haaland in this squad in the Prem? It's only Foden.
It'd only be Foden, possibly Cherki, but again, we've not seen enough, and there's a trust thing with him. If you look at it, Alex, I remember, I'll just tell you this story, right? So I used to work with this City fan, and I said that I would have rather had, if you look at United's recruitment, I was going, it is a bit worrying that Man United, as shit as they were, this was just post the last season. So you were just going into the summer window and you'd sign him. Well, you hadn't actually signed him Mbeumo yet, but it was the writings on the wall, and you had got Cunha in. I went, how embarrassing is it that if we're honestly talking here as City fans, Cunha and Mbeumo both start for City because they're both better than what we've got. Now, he was laughing going, you're talking out your arse. I'm like, how? Explain to me how. And of course, we got the usual shite, Doku's unbelievable, and what else did he? Oh yeah, and the same shit about Savinho as well. No, I just don't get it. I really don't. I want to see things in players to be able to trust them and know what they're going to be able to become. I don't see it with these guys. And then I've got an issue, Alex, because Pep Guardiola, I'm getting bored of this trust, the over trust in the old guard that's finished, and the no trust in the new players, which are his players that he is bringing in for large fees. And then I'm hearing, he don't trust him yet. He's not going to throw him in. Mate, come on. It's November. I know Cherki's been injured. You've put him on some sort of crash diet. The guy looks bloody ill. And now he's he's getting, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. It's not good enough. We've got no talent in the front line. You've got a guy you brought in. I want to know if he's good enough because I know the others are shit. I've seen it. I'd rather find out if he is. If he's crap as well, then that's fine. And we're going to have to go again. But what it seems like, Alex, is we're watching this and we just keep repeating it. And Pep at this moment, I don't know what it is. I think there is going to be a conversation soon. Possibly at the end of the season, if this thing continues, where it's the too much trust in Bernardo, these mad formations where he's deciding to not play a centre defensive midfielder, playing Núñez at right back. If these things persist, Alex, there will be a conversation at the end of the season in terms of where is he at in his life? Is he tired? Does he need a break? I would never ever say to remove this man from his position. No. You know that. But, mate, there becomes a point where it's like, Pep, what is going on? There needs to be a bit of a conversation regarding some of these decision-making. And then you've got to look at the bigger picture. And it's like, right, well, why are we in this mess? The reason you're playing Núñez at right back and that you're playing a makeshift front line with Oscar, Bobb and Savinho is all down to your recruitment not going very well. You decided to go for Marmoush in January. We panic bought it. And now we're not seeing the guy. We went and bought Cherki. We don't see him.
Exactly. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? That I was sat there yesterday. I was in the pub yesterday, so we didn't manage to do a watch along, watching the game, and I was sat there like when the transitions were just ridiculous in that first half. It was just the worst version of City under Pep, where you've always been susceptible, but it was just a massacre on the break. Not surprising because you had no midfield, but anyway. I was sat there going, right, Rodri, I'm assuming is we know Rodri is not 100%. He hasn't been 100% since the comeback, really.
Yeah.
Probably rushed back, but anyway, Rodri's separate. Rodri's not available at the moment. You've got Kovacic as an unused substitute yesterday. I'm assuming he was not fit either. To your point, why is he on the bench? And I was sat there in the pub going, if Rodri, you can't rely on a 29-year-old coming back from an ACL, why did City not sign a world-class DM in the summer? It's such a key position for Pep Guardiola. You think of the best Pep Guardiola teams, and I'm not just talking City here. Fernandinho, probably best in the league for that 2-year stretch, I'd say. Rodri, Ballon d'Or winner. Sergio Busquets, one of the greatest DMs in the football's ever seen. And then he used Toni Kroos and Philipp Lahm came into midfield at Bayern and Xabi Alonso. These are the level of players Pep Guardiola has used in that position. It's a key one. He played it himself. He knows how difficult that role is and how key it is for his style of play. I was sat there yesterday going, why didn't City sign one then? And then I remembered you did sign one for 60 mil in January. And he came on yesterday and got a yellow card straight away. Nico Gonzalez. Why did City do that deal? Go and get somebody for 80 mil in the summer who's brilliant. Because it's a massive position, Christian, for City.
It's the most important one. You said it yourself. And the fact that we went and got Nico Gonzalez, we did panic buy him. We obviously, I was happy with the Reinders signing. I thought that made sense.
But he's a Gundogan.
He's Gundogan, and if you're looking at if you're looking at Gonzalez, I don't see him as a DM at all. I mean, I've seen it, Alex. I don't know if you saw this floating about. I probably saw it more because I follow a lot more City pages, etc. However, the news around City and the fans talking up Nico Gonzalez like, oh, he's the second Rodri now.
Oh God!
Because Alex, I'm not joking. I'll send you the stuff after this. I appreciate no one else can see, but if it's any City fans watching, you probably already know yourself. There was a lot of propaganda going about with Nico Gonzalez saying how good this guy is, and I'm like, I don't know whether I've not been paying attention very well in these matches. I do not see this with this lad whatsoever. He is not Manchester City quality. I'm sorry to tell you. And if you look at the things I have predicted, Alex, in the past, I've got quite a lot of them right. I said to you that Núñez would be playing right back. I said it would just be a disaster all year. Well, we're seeing that unfold, and I think you can ride that till the end of the season because he ain't getting any better. Yeah. I told you all about Bernardo overusing him this year. His physicality is not there. He's finished. And I told you about the winger situation in Doku, Bobb, and Savinho, and it's all coming to the top. Alex, we are really an Erling Haaland injury away from being 7th in the Premier League. And I don't mean like statistically, I mean that is where I would put us in terms of ability level. If you take Erling Haaland out, that is it. Where the fuck are the goals coming from? You've just told everyone yourself. All our other scorers have one. One goal. It's not good enough. It really isn't good enough. And to be honest, I'm just not excited for the rest of the season. And the reason I'm not excited is because there's way too much work to do. And I can't see City going big again in January. I don't even think they know where to start at this point, because we've just gone to give Savinho a new contract. So that we really have doubled down on that, because now we're not going to be able to shift him. Because I guarantee, I've not checked this, but I guarantee that'll be 100 or north of it, because that's what Tottenham were going to give him. So his agent will have demanded it. So then we're stuck with Savinho.
Love to speak to the Spurs boardroom and what their thoughts are on that 70 mil offer. I know they're stupid, but they must have had a bang on the head since then and gone, my God, we got away with that. You know.
Yeah, I never understood that. I said that was the golden ticket when that arrived. We didn't take it. We were stupid. We won the lottery and didn't cash the ticket.
I've got a couple of questions before we wrap up.
Go for
Christian, I know you've been hot on this topic since yesterday, so I think you've made some fantastic points. I've got two things left for you. Firstly, you've got Bournemouth at home, Liverpool at home, Newcastle away as your next three league games. You've got Swansea on Wednesday in the Carling Cup, and you've got Dortmund in the Champions League, which is in between Bournemouth and Liverpool. I mean, that's an awful week. Bournemouth, Dortmund, Liverpool, Newcastle, 4 games. What is your expectations going into those games? I know it's difficult. Starting with Bournemouth at the weekend, do you think you can win 2 out of the 4? Would you say, is that your expectation?
They are insanely difficult fixtures for where this team is currently at. I think Bournemouth is one of them. We were saying this a bit ago. If it was Bournemouth away, I would just simply say they will beat us. If it's Bournemouth at home, you've got that Haaland threat. We will have a lot more of the ball. Maybe we could get a win, but it wouldn't surprise me if we drop points and get a draw. Liverpool will beat us. I don't care. I know that what the problems they're having right now, but playing against Brentford and playing against City is different. They will turn up, and when they do turn up and they're cutting in, you'll see it very similar to what was happening against United. They were getting so many of them opportunities cutting in on the right. You're going to see Gakpo doing that. You're going to see Salah with a couple of chances. And, are they going to miss them? Probably not. So, yeah, I can see us losing to Liverpool.
Newcastle away was the last one.
Newcastle away. I mean, like I've said, City at the best struggle there. That's a really... I'd say draw at best. I really would. Alex, do you know what I was thinking in this yesterday? And you look at them City players, and they didn't look like they were really that bothered about getting the win. I think they sort of almost knew. There was a little bit of an acceptance I saw in that final 10 minutes. You tell me your thoughts, bro. But seriously, we had something weird happen, right? So we had the ball and there was about, a good 90 seconds to go, minute and a half, certainly enough time to get it into the opposition's half. And I saw the defenders pissing it about, and it was 3 passes back to each other. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? I'm watching the defenders keep the ball like they're running down the game clock. It just felt like there was a bit of a disbelief and a disconnect of being able to go on and win this match. So it was like, just fuck it, we'll go again next week. This is not the City I recognise. Disgusting attitude, a terrible performance, and it was managed horrifically by Pep Guardiola.
No, very honest take, and I agree with you, yeah. Lack of belief, really, as well, I think feeds into your defenders pissing around with it. Okay, last question before we wrap up. Christian Udale, you're advising Pep Guardiola on the team for, let's go Newcastle away, because I think that's, even though Liverpool are the champions, I think Newcastle away is the toughest game, because away from home you're struggling against teams in the top 6, 8 away from home. Newcastle is a very tough place to go. What's your team in that fixture? What are you advising Pep to do if it was on your shoulders to pick a team? Forget the defence and the goalkeeper. Midfield and attack. What are you doing with those 6 positions, players? Like how would you set up away at Newcastle?
Providing Rodri is injured, my thoughts on Gonzalez. I don't think he's good enough, but at least he's recognisable in that position. He knows it and he can play it. So I think you've got to go Nico Gonzalez. I would go Reinders. And then the other position is a bit of a toss-up because Foden really does need to come in and start performing. So yes, there's an argument for Foden. However, if he continues in the trajectory he's in, I'd be tempted to go Kovacic, to be quite honest, and go more solid and more compact. I really would. So if we were to do one or the other in terms of that, let's see where Foden is at when that fixture rolls round. And then we move to the front three. Of course, Haaland picks himself. I would go Cherki on the right because I feel like we have no end products. I think that guy can provide it. I do like Cherki. He's, he is a bit out there. Who knows what he's going to be and his ceiling. But I do like it. I like the fact he's got that attitude of, you know what, he comes on, it's not our day, but he's trying the balls. It's like when you said about De Bruyne in that FA Cup final. Yeah. No one else could be bothered. And we've got too many of them, Alex. We've got more of them than we have Cherki, who comes on and he's like, I'm not arse, fuck it. If it don't work, it don't work. He has a go. So I like that. So 100% Cherki. Savinho should not play for this club again. So fuck him right off. I don't particularly like Doku, but this is the position we found ourselves in, Alex. And Marmoush cannot play on as a left winger. So what else have we got? Savinho's crap. Oscar Bobby's not good enough. So you're forced into me telling you that I would go Jeremy Doku because there's no one else I can really tell you that could go there.
No, I agree. And I think you made a great point there about the midfield going with the extra body. And I think City should do this. I think away from home against a good side, City need to go man for man. If you go with, well, look, we saw it yesterday. We don't have to play ifs and buts here. People know Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali and Joe Linton are going to run. They're going to run. They're athletic, they're physical, they're aggressive. City cannot really afford a 10 who's not going to put in graft. And I mean, yesterday they played 2 10s and no DM. So you've got to go. I think that's a great shout. Nico Gonzalez, Reinders and Kovacic, either side of him, a 4-3-3. And you can then as well, you've got Kovacic or Reinders inside right. You can say to Cherki, like, yeah, look, we're not expecting, Willian work rate from you. We know that's not your game. We've got a bit of cover for you. Kovacic can cover.
Express yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you're the guy who can create. You're the guy who we need you to create. If you focus on that, we'll stop Newcastle running straight through us. I think you made some really good points, and I would definitely do that, by the way. And if Foden can earn his place back, because you're right, Foden, if you're playing number 10 away at Newcastle, we're losing the midfield battle straight away. So you better be delivering, and he hasn't been.
That's it. The reason I said what I said was because Newcastle, with their team in mind in that midfield, we know how powerful they are. We know if you play Foden as part of that three, you're getting overrun. You've already submitted that yourselves to that. But it's like, if he can have an end product, then it's the counterbalance to it, isn't it?
Yes.
So if he can perform in the final third, but like the stats you've just read out that are alarmingly bad, it wouldn't suggest that they're going to pick up anytime soon or be quick enough for me to say, no, it's worth losing that battle and just, conceding that, and hopefully he does something. Well, not really, because that's going against everything I've said and everything I'm disagreeing with my club for doing with the whole Savinho and Doku shit. So yeah, I think Kovacic would be good to have that extra man. I think we're not getting much creative-wise out of Foden right now anyway. So put it all on Cherki. Let's see what the guy's got. You need to have more trust in this guy, Pep. I'm sick of seeing you having the trust in Bernardo because he's good at just doing the very simple things. Oh, come on. What are we doing here? We're just happy he can turn back and he can pass it back into midfield and we retain possession and we'll keep our precious possession stat. Yes, but we're not looking good and we don't look like scoring. Teams aren't fucking bothered. Have the ball, Bernardo. Turn back. You're one, not going to take me on. You're two, you can't even cross the ball anymore because you can't get a yard.
It's an athletic league and the data tells you. That guy on the overlap did a great piece on not Route 1, although some teams are, be it United, but the aggressive, the goalkeeper's not playing a 10-yard pass to the fucking centre-back, to the left-back, back to the keeper. It's banging the ball through the pitch to the number 10 or the number 8 on the half-turn, and we're going to go through transition quicker. And that's what teams are doing now. Your Bournemouths, your Newcastles, your Villas, we saw it yesterday. As soon as you get that ball, get it into Rodgers, because Rodgers can run. And the league is going away from the fantastic game Guardiola played, and it's like Pep's got to adapt. We've seen this with Mourinho, we've seen this with Fergie, and it's like, yes, it was great what you did. Are you going to move with it? Because football goes in cycles, and I must admit, Pep's cycle has lasted longer than anything else, really. We've never seen, since 2008, he came to Barcelona, only the last couple of years, really, 18 months, have you looked at it and gone, the physicality is overwhelming Pep City. Also, the talent's reduced a little bit. So, look, it's big weeks. I mean, just to confirm, Christian, you think City are just in the top 4 race? There's no way you're challenging Arsenal for the title.
No way, because the consistency, the fact that Haaland is the only guy that scores means there is no sustainability to a title charge. Look, any City fans that were saying it in the summer were reaching. If you're still saying it now, I don't really know what you're watching.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, I had City 4th coming into the season. Yeah, I mean, 3rd. I think
that's fair, Alex. I mean, the table doesn't lie right now.
No,
we're level on points with Man United, who everyone were laughing at and saying the writing's on the wall for Amorim to get sacked. Well, come on. I think we've got to say fair's fair here, and we've really got to look at this and go, well, where are we as a team then? Because we were taking the piss down them lot. You know what I mean? We've got to look at ourselves right now, and I wouldn't be concentrating on anything like let's fix ourselves for a title charge. What I would say though is, Alex, yes, the squad is not in the best position currently, but just because we're not in the best position, you don't need to blow a bomb up in the middle and just go hope for the best. You know what I mean? Don't send lambs out to slaughter like Nunes at right back, Reinders as your defensive mid, with Bernardo and Foden in front of him as 10s. Come on. We can't be doing that. Give us a chance.
Yeah, it leads to your Kovacic, Reinders, Nico Gonzalez midfield of getting a foothold in a game. We've got a guy who needs 1 or 2 chances to win us the game. And at the end of the day, we need to... You can't afford to let too many in because it's only him who's scoring. If you concede 2, he's got to get a fucking hat-trick. Not that he wouldn't, but you're playing the percentages here. Haaland, we said it, as great as he is, he ain't going to score in every single game. Messi didn't score in every single game consecutively for the whole season. You're going to have days like yesterday. So, look, we've cracked the hour, and it was great talking to you.
I needed therapy, bro, didn't I? So...
Yeah, and it's just great being on this side of the fence, really, being level on points.
I can't believe the way the season is actually turning out. Things are looking up for you, and I'm in absolute peril. I mean, look,
unbelievable.
Things were, and I know some people could maybe watch this, and if you have got to the end, really appreciate it, and you might think, oh, he's overreacting. It's one loss. It's the manner of the loss, and it's the fact I could have predicted this before the whistle went. Do you know what I mean? It's frustrating, Alex, and it can't be a pattern that continues. I saw this too much last year, and I thought we'd turn this page. It needs to be. This book needs to be finished. Of these silly decision making, a lack of respect to other teams in the Premier League, not acknowledging a clear disadvantage in terms of physicality. These are basics, Alex. These are not things that I should be telling Pep Guardiola. He knows them. So what is he doing then? But honestly, nice one for tonight, bro. And it's been good catching up.
I thought it was really good chatting through with you. Hopefully, if you've made it to this point in the episode, firstly, really appreciate it, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. What you thought about yesterday's game, moving forward, the situation with City and with Pep, and what with these wacky team sheets at the moment. And what is your expectations? Obviously, my brother, you've got 3 massive games coming up against 3 teams in the top 8, probably top 7, I think. In Liverpool.
I timed that 2-week holiday well, didn't I, lad?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be me. It's going to be me fucking watching your games on YouTube.
I didn't want any of them watch-alongs. I didn't want to be a part of that shit.
Yeah, imagine if you lose all 3 when you're away. Fucking hell. Right. We cracked the hour for the first time in a while. We must have been enjoying it. You were flowing. It was brilliant. Okay. Thank you, Christian, for joining me. I appreciate it on this Monday evening. And we will be back with hopefully another one before you go on holiday on Friday. And then I will be filling up the gaps while you're away, hopefully with some watch-alongs, with some episodes, maybe a solo episode. So try and join me for them. I massively appreciate it. And thank you for listening. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.